And welcome into the Monday edition, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Joe Rexrode, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Pretty good weekend of football.
Not bad.
Good weekend of football.
Not bad. Decent weekend of hockey.
Yeah.
I was out there at the arena basically all weekend.
Some good and some bad from the Preds.
Some good, some bad. Pretty cool to see Ovechkin and Stamkos trade some one-timers from the left circle last night. As Andrew Brunette pointed out, it's about 1,500 some odd goals. Don't know that we'll ever see that again. So Preds back at it tomorrow, taking on Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers.
Man, they keep coming.
They do. Ian, how we doing? What's going on?
Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Good weekend. Fell asleep during the game last night, the Sunday night game. So I missed a bunch of the second half. Got the 6-year-old, a little bit of a strep throat action at the house too. That time of year. So head on a swivel out there, people. But overall, doing good. Thanks. Happy Monday, everyone.
We got a lot to go get into on the program today. Corey Curtis will be with us at 8 o'clock for his weekly visit. I'm sure the subject of my painted nails will come up at some point.
Oh, yeah.
We will get into that.
That's right.
Got to figure out exactly how that's happening, how he wants that to take place. So we'll find that out at 8 o'clock.
Have to be like videoed or something?
I don't know. Like, he texted me the other night in the aftermath of the game. He's like, my daughter said she'll do it. So we'll see. I had to set something up.
That's cheaper than going to these manis and petties.
Yeah.
Not cheap, man.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Not good. So we'll see what happens on that front. We have the Rex rant a little bit later in the show coming up at 7:45 as well. We will get into the latest with the Titans head coaching search coming up throughout the program as well. Joe, we begin with Wild Card Weekend in the NFL. L.A. takes down Carolina in a semi-thriller for the expectations heading into that game, 34-31. The Bears take down the Packers 31-27 in a game blown by Matt LaFleur of epic proportions, which is about par for the course. We'll get into that later in the show. Buffalo with a 27-24 win against the Jacksonville Jaguars, an 11-yard tush push late in the game on that one. That was interesting.
Yeah.
The 49ers win on the road, take down the reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. So the Eagles are done. San Francisco wins. And Vrabel and the Patriots with a 16-3 win against the Chargers and Justin Herbert, who cannot have any postseason success at all. And that trend continues last night. So one more coming up tonight, Houston and Pittsburgh on the Monday night game will close out Wild Card Weekend. But, Joe, what are maybe a couple things that stood out to you over the weekend in the NFL?
Well, I know that we're going to get back into it, and I'm sorry for your troubles, but the Packers just completely blowing that game. Now, I could facetiously say, well, Matt LaFleur was part of them building the lead too, but I can't in good faith try to talk you out of being furious with Matt LaFleur and being about done with him. And it seems like that is not something that you have independently as a thought. And so I'm really interested. To me, we knew that some of these results might lead to things like, I think Sean McDermott's good, and now you can forget about that one. So the whole Harbaugh, Josh Allen, wipe that away. Big time win. I think the Bills screwed up personally, but they didn't pay for it because they got the tip pick on Trevor Lawrence. But that was obviously an impactful win. I think we're head on a swivel today on LaFleur, head on a swivel on strep and various illnesses, head on a swivel on Matt LaFleur today. I mean, you know better than me. You're plugged into it, but a lot of people are.
It's loud. Yeah, I mean, it's really loud around him right now. I don't know what that means. I was telling you before the show, and we're going to get into the Harbaugh stuff here in just a few minutes, but this is just my total guess. My guess is if the Packers really like Harbaugh and they feel like they got a decent shot to land Harbaugh, then that would be how Matt LaFleur gets fired. That would be my guess. If it's not going to be him, I don't know. I mean, after the way the game went, he's got 1 year left on his deal. So he was asked about this yesterday. He did a press conference, and he didn't want to get into any of it, and I understand it. But Like, are you comfortable if you're the Packers not extending him this offseason? Are you comfortable if you're him? Like, are you going to do that heading into next year with a lame duck year? I don't know. Are you going to bite the bullet and just go ahead and extend it? I don't. It's a very interesting situation. Last week, it seemed like it was trending towards him getting a contract extension. With the way that game went over the weekend, I would wonder if that changes.
So then you have the Eagles, and I was wrong. Kudos to you guys. I think you both picked the Niners. I know you picked the Niners with the points, but D-Mace too. He was right last week. It's like there's just something that's been off. I thought they might turn it on. They didn't. The offense and A.J. Brown dropped a couple passes, and it's just all a mess. And by the way, I heard some of that on Sportsmanlike today.
Yep.
What about Sirianni and what about Harbaugh there? I mean, it's crazy to think of a guy getting to a Super Bowl, winning a Super Bowl a year ago, and then they had a really good year this year, just not a championship level year, losing his job. It seems obvious with him. The OC ups and downs seem to really affect them. So, I mean, I'd be surprised if that was the case, but we talk about that. And then you got Vrabel popping his lip, on a helmet last night, and rolling around with his guys and just kicking the crap. Justin Herbert, he's going to have to live up to that whole thing, and I get it. And so it's another loss for him. But my God, Harbaugh may as well have put him in a dunk tank last night, or just like line up everybody and take. It's like the woman on the plane and airplane. Everybody's lining up with like wrenches and stuff to like shake her and hit her. I mean, my God, did that guy get just abused?
11 quarterback hits for the Patriots.
I mean, at the end, it was just like get him off the field, scrape him off the field, and don't hurt him anymore. 6
sacks.
That was a bludgeoning, and the good times rolling for the Patriots, man. They're going to get the winner of tonight's game coming to their place next. Bill's going to be at the Broncos, and I'm telling you right now, and you guys know I'm awesome at picking games this year. It's really working out well. But I'm just telling you, the Bills are going to go beat the Broncos on the road, and Josh Allen is going to be playing to get to a Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, look, it looked like the Panthers were going to win. In the first game of the weekend, the Panthers had the Rams at one point seemingly dead to rights. And then Stafford and company put together a drive at the end of the game where shows you why he's probably going to win the MVP this year. But, he made a couple of boneheaded throws in that game that were just awful. And then they come back and make some plays down the stretch. But Carolina just about pulled one out in the first game of the weekend, which I did not expect.
Yeah, credit to them. And it's like Bryce Young, obviously, has come a long way from like, oh, my God, this guy shouldn't even be playing. It's still not perfect, but he did make some big-time plays, and I think that there's a future there. And, the Rams, the Rams are interesting. The Rams, I think when they play at their best, and, this game also, like Nakua dropped like a sure touchdown from Stafford. Obviously, they did not have their best game. They're going to need their best game to beat the Bears, but I still think like they're good enough to win the Super Bowl. I think 3 of the 4 teams left in the NFC, although now you take out the Niners, man. I don't know. They keep getting Kittle with the Achilles, brutal. But I still think they could figure it out. 3 of the 4 teams, the 4th being the Bears, who suck and continue to be the most like just lucky and on scholarship NFL team I've ever seen. I mean, seriously, they're good. I'm not saying they're not terrible, but like they are not a contender to win it all. And yet here they are in the Final Four of the NFC.
They are in the divisional round coming up. And again, like that game, it's just amazing. First off, to outscore someone in a playoff game 25-6 in the fourth quarter. I don't really know how that happens. I mean, Jordan Love, listen to Jordan Love's numbers in that game. He was 24 of 46, 323 yards, 4 touchdowns, quarterback rating of 103.8. I forget who had the stat. I've read a billion stats this weekend. I need to go back and find it. It was like Jordan Love this time out. I think Josh Allen in that wild game against Kansas City in the playoffs, and somebody else, or like the only quarterbacks in NFL history to throw for like 300 yards and 4 touchdowns in a game and no picks. and lose in a playoff game. Like, it's amazing how they screwed that game up over the weekend.
Yeah, and there were some coaching gaffes for sure in there. But it's just like, and look, I mean, like, give the Bears credit and give the Bears crowd credit and all that stuff. Things like that can start snowballing. But it was a mismatch. I mean, it should not have been close at the end, let alone a Bears win. But that's what happened. So is that going to continue, to happen? Are they going to continue to get breaks like that and opponents handing them things? And I don't know. I mean, we'll see if I feel like the Rams might go in there and win by double figures. But again, that's what the Packers just should have done and were well on their way to doing.
I just hope Liam Cohen keeps his head up after this weekend. He was told to do that yesterday in the press conference, and that's been making its rounds. So I just hope Liam Cohen and the Jags can hang their head high after a good season down there in Duval.
I don't even know what to. I think this may have to be the discussion point at 7:45. I mean,
Duval.
I don't.
Keep your head up, Liam.
Just a man, like, do this in Kaharski,
Did you know you're my wonder wall?
Like, what? Just ask a question, bro. I don't. But
boy.
The opportunity this has become for people to, like, crap on media is pretty special.
It is.
The muting that's been going on Twitter. My goodness.
Very glad
It's a lot.
I deleted that app off my phone. 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. We are off and running. We'll take your reaction to NFL Wildcard Weekend throughout the show here today. We're going to get into John Harbaugh, the latest on the Tennessee Titans coaching search. Is it possible that Matt LaFleur could shake free today? And would he be of interest to the Tennessee Titans? Would the Titans be of interest to him? We will get into all that throughout the show today. Taking more of your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
That clown on SportsCenter, did he seriously just say that? My God.
Something
Guys,
could be brewing for
That's
7:45,
fine.
folks.
We'll save it for then. I mean, okay. I don't know.
I got charmed on in here. I'm
that's
not
good.
sure what's going on in there.
Yeah, that's you were.
Be
better,
tuned in to the
you
Rex
were
Rant,
better
7:45.
off. Way better off.
Oh, man. John Harbaugh over the weekend with some interesting, I mean, I guess it didn't come like, it's not like John Harbaugh held a press conference, but some interesting reporting around John Harbaugh over the weekend. I mean, we knew that this weekend was going to be important, right? Like what was going to happen with Buffalo. Now that Green Bay is out, what's going to happen with Matt LaFleur? And we're going to get into the LaFleur part of this from the Titans standpoint a little bit later in the show here today, a little bit later in the hour. But Diana Rossini put this out over the weekend, and this was combined with, an interesting report from Albert Breer, which I'll bring up here in a minute. And Harbaugh and his representatives, I think, have put it out there that, there's been a lot of interest in him, obviously, but it looks like he's going to try to narrow it down to about 3 or 4 teams that he's actually going to interview with. So that's not a huge surprise. Like nobody expected John Harbaugh to be walking around and having, 8 job interviews as all this was going on. But it feels like, whether the number is 3, 4, or whatever he kind of settles in on, that it's going to be a selective process for John Harbaugh. And Diana Rossini put this out on Saturday morning, which got Titans Twitter just buzzing all over the place. Said, quote, John Harbaugh is spending today and the next few days watching film specifically on quarterbacks Jackson Dart and Cam Ward. He's also been in contact with team decision makers while continuing to communicate with potential members of his own coaching staff. So, obviously, Joe, when Titans fans saw that, I mean, the Jackson Dart part of it, we've talked about Harbaugh and the Giants, and, every coach that's available out there is somehow connected to the New York Giants. So I get that. But when Cam Ward's name was thrown in there too, Titans fans are like, oh, my goodness, we have got a shot to land John Harbaugh. What do you make of that? And what do you make of John Harbaugh apparently taking at least a little bit of a look at Cam Ward and what that could mean for the Tennessee Titans?
Well, I'll go back to last week, and again, my coworker, quote unquote, even though I've never met him, Ian O'Connor at The Athletic has been putting out there that he considers the Titans he considers the Giants probably like they are. You probably still consider them the front runner for Harbaugh, but he has talked about the Titans as a real chance, and he knows John Harbaugh very well. And I just when Rossini's report came out, I was like, wow, that to me that's a big deal. And here's the thing: could the Titans get John Harbaugh? And I still think the chances are low. But now we've got this situation where if Harbaugh interviews with the Titans, that to me, and this is probably an overreaction, but it's hard not to look at it this way. I mean, that's at least a Harbaugh validation of Cam Ward. And if he doesn't, then I'll probably take it as, yeah. Now, again, could it be, I like Cam Ward, but you know what? The whole Amy Armstrong thing, I'm just going to go ahead and I don't want to mess with that. Sure, there's obviously not just one factor. There are multiple factors in these things. But the fact that he's taken the time to go through the film, I'm sorry, but like the outcome of what interviews he will do, to me, is going to speak to some. I think it's one of the most important commentaries. Is it more important than all of us watching Cam Ward? I mean, I think anybody who watched him this year said, yeah, like there's something there. He had some promise. He had some good days, some bad days, good plays, bad plays. He can make some plays that a lot of people can't make, and there's something there. But like if Harbaugh thinks there's enough there that he's going to actually interview the Titans despite the Amy Adams-Strunk thing and the concerns and about a bad roster, and still, I mean, look, an unproven GM. I mean, like pretty good first draft. There's some good stuff in there, but like, let's not act like Mike Borgonzi is some huge draw.
Right.
Then I think, I mean, to me, that's, I don't know if it's validation, but it's a comment. It's a strong commentary on Cam Ward.
Well, you had on Saturday morning, within about an hour of each other, that report from Rossini came out. Albert Breer, put this out there on John Harbaugh. It says no interviews this weekend, which we've talked about. Sources say 6 teams reached out right away. Miami made it 7 last night. He's not interviewing with them all. I'd see realistic landing spots as of now as the Giants, Dolphins, Titans, and Falcons. Now, keep in mind, again, that was before, wild card action took place this weekend. But, when Titans fans saw that, they're like, okay, so Rossini says that he's looking at some Cam Ward film. Breer has put it out there that the Titans could be a realistic landing spot. I think when John Harbaugh first became available, there were a lot of people that thought, I don't know that the Titans are going to be getting a strong look from John Harbaugh. But it looks like they at least could be under consideration there, which is a big deal if you're the Titans, right? So, again, what are the chances that he actually chooses the Titans job? I don't know. But there's clearly at least some interest out there from Harbaugh.
And I just have to think that the biggest reason that he's even going there is Cam Ward, right? The biggest reason is, okay, let's see. I mean, I'm in the league. I'm coaching the Ravens. I'm not paying attention. We didn't play the Titans this year. We never watched them on film. We did. I mean, how much work did they do on Cam Ward? I mean, they got Lamar.
Probably not a lot.
Yeah. So to me, it's like just opening the door. Cam Ward is the only reason if it was Tannehill here, if it was just like a kind of a known mid quarterback situation, then I don't think they'd get the time of day. But I think it's smart of him to be like, you know what, let me really dig in and look and see, what they've got here. And if Todd Monken and I could do something here with this player. I mean, you can't have two. I mean, you talk about completely different situations. I mean, again, maybe I'm being a little hard on Cam Ward, but I think he might be. He's right up there with the slowest quarterbacks in the league. He's very slow, right? Like he's a good eluder and he can extend plays and all that stuff.
I don't know. I watch him run and then I watch Jared Goff run and I'm like, Cam Ward is a blazer out there.
Well, for sure. I mean, Goff, if we're going to count Cousins as a starter, then you put him behind him too. Yeah. But there aren't that many, man.
Not a ton.
There's nothing, all the stuff they do in that offense. It's just like, okay, you take all that out. That whole side of the playbook is out of there. But the bottom line is, if you have someone who you think can be a good quarterback, John Harbaugh won a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco, who's a good quarterback. Good quarterback for a long time. No one will ever confuse him with a great all-time quarterback, but he won a Super Bowl with him.
Also slow.
Also slow, too.
It's true.
Yes. Yeah, and if we counted him right now, you might see Cam Ward. Look, you're beating a bunch of people in a race, Cam Ward. But I just think it's absolutely about Cam, and I'm fascinated to see if they get an interview before we worry about what might happen or all the other jobs you might be looking at. That says something.
Well, and by the way, we'll continue the Harbaugh discussion, but another name over the weekend in connection to the Titans was somebody we talked a lot about on Friday, and that is Mike McDaniel. And he is getting an interview with the Titans. I believe it's coming up on Wednesday. So, add Mike McDaniel to the list as well of potential options out there. And look, I said it. If Matt Nagy is going to be considered a serious candidate, like if Robert Saleh is going to be considered a serious candidate, and if you're just going by accomplishment as a head coach, well, McDaniel has definitely done more than Saleh has. So you add him to the list, and apparently the Titans feel the same way, so they're taking a look at him coming up later this week. Now, how much of that is, boy, we'd really have serious interest in Mike McDaniel being a head coach? In the back of their mind, is there some Saleh McDaniel pairing that they think could be attractive as well? By the way, nice job by Robert Saleh and that San Francisco defense against Philadelphia yesterday.
Pretty freaking good.
Just another name of intrigue added over the weekend as well of McDaniel to the list for the Titans as well.
Right. So the Saleh McDaniel thing that we've been talking about forever could be possible, but I got to say, I think they absolutely should take Mike McDaniel seriously as a head coaching candidate. I think he's a really smart guy. I think he handled there were a couple of things he probably could have handled publicly a little bit better on there, but also it's kind of a mess down there. And I'm sorry, but just Tua just is not nearly as good as I thought he would be, as a lot of people thought he would be. The injuries are not his fault. It's not anybody's fault. But I And look, a couple years ago, I think everybody was like, "Oh my God, Mike McDaniel is the biggest genius in football," and maybe that's not the case anymore. But I think he's pretty smart, and I think he's, I saw some stuff over the weekend. I forget who it was. It was somebody who played for the Dolphins when McDaniel was there, and he gave him a pretty strong endorsement in terms of how he handled everything. I wish I remember who that was. Do you see what I'm talking about?
I did not.
Okay, I can try to
We
find
can
it.
find it.
Yeah, but it was someone who played with the Dolphins at that time, and he was very complimentary about basically he cuts through the BS and is very real with people, and I think he should be absolutely. Now, I'd be interested to know what Titans fans feel about him. As I know everybody would be like OC,
Yeah.
but as a head coaching candidate, be interested. I like honestly, if you gave me, because I don't know what this whole Stefanski thing with Shador. But if you gave me the choice between those guys, as I think about it, I don't know, man. I might lean toward McDaniel.
615-737-1025, our phone number. So John Harbaugh, potentially with some interest in the Titans job. We'll take your thoughts on that. Mike McDaniel being interviewed by the Titans later this week. We will get into the Matt LaFleur part of this coming up a little bit later in the hour as well. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Discussing the Titans head coaching search. John Harbaugh with some potential interest out there. Looking at film of Jackson Dart, looking at film of Cam Ward, and I would assume, Joe, at some point pretty quickly this week, we're going to hear some movement on the Harbaugh front in terms of the interview part of it. Because now that the Bills have advanced, I would agree with you, like McDermott, was that the first road playoff game yesterday they've won since like 92, I think it was. So now that they've won that game, look, they're going to Denver. They're taking on the 1 seed. It's not certainly impossible that Denver could win that game and bounce them. Even if that happens, I understand that would be very disappointing for the Bills. I don't think they would fire McDermott after that, so he's probably safe at this point. We'll get a little bit more in the Green Bay part of this coming up and as to what that could mean for Harbaugh here in just a few minutes. But I would assume the movement from Harbaugh on selecting whatever process he goes through of selecting interviews would be happening pretty quickly this week, and then you're kind of getting to that next step of it.
Yeah, I think we're going to find out at some point this week who he's going to talk to. So everybody waiting on your squad, waiting on your Packers. And again, to me, it's like it's got to come today, right? Like today.
You would think.
Yeah. Either, I guess. But I guess, like, if they're not going to extend him, which again, I don't think it's some huge problem in the NFL. Lame duck coach. I mean, you're not. It's not a recruiting thing. I mean, it's like, hey, earn your contract. That's fair to me. What's he going to do? Leave?
I don't think so. I mean, I've never really understood that either. Like, make the coach do a good job in the last year of his contract.
If you're
if he wants to leave after that, then whatever. But
yeah, like if you're sort of in between on, we're so thrilled with the job being done, or we need to fire you, then that's when you just let someone play out their contract. But I guess if that's the case, then there's just no word from the Packers. But again, that still to me means if they don't fire him today, you can't, like, how much time do you need, right? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, I would assume that LaFleur met with or is meeting with Ed Policy, who is the decision maker up there.
Yep.
That either happened last night or is happening this morning. So I would assume in the not too distant aftermath of that, there's a decision one way or the other coming on that front.
And if it's a firing, then that's the meeting.
Then that's
when
it
happens, right?
Exactly. So we'll find out at some point here. The interesting question is, I mean, let's play that out. Let's play it out that LaFleur gets fired in Green Bay, which you'll see me fall out of this chair if it happens live on our program. We talked about the Titans. We've talked about the Giants. Breer put a couple other teams out there, the Dolphins and the Falcons, as potential landing spots for Harbaugh. I would assume if LaFleur gets fired, you can add Green Bay to that list. I guess my question for you would be, I mean, does Green Bay immediately become like the runaway favorite for that? Would you still include the Titans and the Giants and teams like that in the mix there? Like if LaFleur's out in Green Bay, what does that do for the Harbaugh race in your mind?
Yeah, it's hard for me to believe that John Harbaugh wouldn't just jump at that one. And I don't know. Some of this is like, how much does it matter to someone like John Harbaugh that it's the Packers, that it's the storied franchise that the Packers are. There is also the consideration of, so you're choosing to live in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Right.
For anybody who's been to Green Bay, Wisconsin, I've been there during nice times of year, and it was great. I've also been there to cover a basketball game in like late December. Yeah, man. Like, I lived in Michigan. Green Bay, Wisconsin is a different deal altogether still than that.
They got a couple really nice gas stations up there, man.
I mean, they've got some nice. I mean, there's a lot of places where you can get awesome cheese curds, which I love. But you got that. But to me, it's just like, I mean, whatever. What are these guys? That's why I've seen some. It's funny. I've seen some social media back and forth on the Titans. And I've said it, like, living in Nashville. Like, I mean, I do think it's a draw, but it is also fair to point out that these guys are bunkered up.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is Jordan Love. I don't know how you wouldn't look at it and say, yes, I can win championships with that guy. And you don't know you can do that with Jackson Dart. You don't know you can do that with Cam Ward. You could like the film on either of those guys, but I mean, the proof concept it's a totally different deal when it comes to Jordan Love. So I got to think that it would be a slam dunk if it happens.
Well, I think from a roster standpoint, it's not really all that close between the Packers job and all these other jobs that are open, right? Like, I mean, you're talking about Jordan Love, who's really good. You're talking about Micah Parsons, assuming he comes back and is completely healthy at that point. They got, a lot of guys on the defensive side of the ball. So from a roster standpoint, I think Green Bay immediately moves into the number one spot for Harbaugh there. And then, of course, the natural question after that would be, like, what happens with LaFleur? Like, if LaFleur gets fired, I would assume he's going to get another job somewhere else. So if you're a team like the Titans, if you're a team like the Giants, like, does it go, well, let's see where Harbaugh goes. And then wherever Harbaugh goes, let's assume it's Green Bay. We'll just substitute Harbaugh and put LaFleur in that spot. Does he immediately jump to the top of the list? Or is he in the same mix as Stefanski and McDaniel and all these other guys that are kind of lumped together right now?
Yeah, it's fascinating. You, if they were asking you, then
he'd be coaching high school football.
Yeah, they would not have a great opinion of him. I mean, I have to look at, like, Jordan Love's progress, and I look at Malik Willis coming in, all of a sudden he looks like a good quarterback, and I have to think that Matt LaFleur knows his butt from his elbow, right? But there's concerns.
Here's what I would say. I think if you're a team like the Titans or a team like the Giants, and what I mean by that is you are in transition, you have a very young quarterback, your roster is certainly not at a spot where you feel like you're competing for championships right now. Do I think Matt LaFleur could come in here and do a good job and elevate the team to get them to a certain point? Yes, I do. Like, I think Matt LaFleur could come in here. I think he could be good for Cam Ward. I think he is good at developing quarterbacks. I think he can be, when he isn't completely overthinking everything, a very good play caller. So all those things are good. I think Matt LaFleur could come in here and the Titans could get back to being a playoff team. Now, then that leads to a separate discussion at some point of, like, is Matt LaFleur ever going to break down the door and win games that actually matter when the time comes? The answer so far is no. Now, does that mean he couldn't do it here? I don't know. And the Titans, frankly, right now, well, I think if you're a Titans fan, you'll take that conversation when it comes up, right? Like, if we get to the point where we're worried about winning huge playoff games and whether or not the coach can do that, Titans have been far away from that for a while. You'll take that. You'll cross that bridge when you get there. So I understand all that. So
sure.
I think that you have to understand that, again, I've said this many times, and people who don't watch the Packers keep telling me how good Matt LaFleur is, that the expectations and the situations from rosters between the Giants and the Packers right now and the Titans and the Packers right now could not be more different.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, but so let's go to the last game. So, I mean, like, they missed, people pointing out on the text line. I mean, he didn't miss those kicks, right? I mean,
did you watch the game, guys?
I did.
Get yourself in I mean, can you manage a game? If you manage the game as the head coach the right way, those kicks don't matter. You're never in a position where those kicks can hurt you.
So your main issue with LaFleur is just game overall.
He totally
CEO,
chokes.
Game management.
Yeah. He's a good play
calling.
He totally chokes as a head coach. I mean, look, I've sent you 1,000 stats this weekend. Go look at the games they blew this year. I mean, they have blown about 5 or 6 double-digit leads, several of those being in the fourth quarter this year. If that was Vrabel when he was here, Titans fans would be going nuts about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think clearly there's something there where, again, decisions by him, some sort of psychological thing. I don't know, but I mean, it's hard to ignore at this point. So I'm with you. Like, yes, as a Titans fan, I would be open to the idea. I mean, I think a lot of franchises would. But there are some coaches that's the ceiling, and it's like, man, you get to the absolute, I mean, he had that championship game with Rodgers in the MVP year, and look, Brady played great in that game, but the bottom line is, like, at some point, if you never win those games, you have to. I mean,
by the way,
what's
totally
the deal?
screwed that one up too. So, like, there's a long.
Was there something at the end of the half, right? Didn't he totally screw?
Well, he screwed up a play at the end of the half, and then at the end of the game, they were down 8 with 2 minutes and 8 seconds left on the clock, and he decided, I'll kick field goal.
And kicked field goal.
It's 4th and goal.
Yeah. So, like someone on the YouTube chat, he gets a lead and gets complacent. I don't know if it's complacency, but like they don't. There's something there where, and sometimes, if a coach is unsure of himself, that can translate to a team. So we'll see. Maybe it's it. Maybe you finally won't have him to beat up on.
But
anymore.
again, like, I'm trying to be as objective about this as possible, which is difficult with this guy. Like, if he's out there and you're a Titans fan and if you're Borgonzi, like, if he's out there and you're not landing Harbaugh, I mean, he would immediately, I think, move, if not at the very top, at least toward the top of the list of guys that are out there, right?
Yeah.
And I think we could all agree on that.
Yeah, like, again, I just said I like Mike McDaniel. If it was like McDaniel, Stefanski, and LaFleur, it's kind of like similar with all the situation, right? They're all going to be play calling head coaches. I'd still probably go LaFleur because there's still enough there. And again, Jordan Love's progress with Cam Ward. If you can take Cam Ward and go like the amount of improvement that Jordan Love showed from early on when he shouldn't even have been on the field to like what he is, if you can have anything close to that level of improvement, like you're going to be in pretty good shape.
Yeah. 615-737-1025, our phone number. Your thoughts on John Harbaugh, your thoughts on a potential Matt LaFleur firing in Green Bay. What would that do for the Titans' interest level in him? We'll take all your thoughts on our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
I think it was more lack of execution than lack of composure. Just looking at the tape, and this is why you got to be careful what you say, I think, especially emotionally after a game. But when I look at it, it's just, don't get me wrong. It's execution, whether it's from the guys on the field or it's from a coaching decision in terms of, well, there were some play calls that you'd absolutely love to have back. Just like there's some plays that some of our guys would absolutely love to have back. And that's football. And like I said, in the biggest of stages, you got to capitalize when you have those opportunities.
That's Matt LaFleur at his press conference yesterday.
And nothing wrong with that comment. He took some accountability there.
Oh, he's great at taking some accountability.
Wow. I mean, he's probably right? Is he not right?
I'm sure he is.
That there are some plays where,
look,
players.
I say this, and this is another example where a couple things can be true. Yes, if you manage the game properly, you don't need the kicks. It would be nice for your kicker to make some kicks down the stretch.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot that goes into winning and losing.
There is. There's a lot that
goes
into it.
But he does seem to find ways to blow these games.
He's found some special ways this year and in the playoffs in years past.
So real quick. So we've got, if LaFleur's out there, you're talking Harbaugh, LaFleur, Stefanski, McDaniel. And again, so we talked not long ago about Stefanski being like the belle of the ball. To me, he'd be the fourth of those. And then we're not even getting into Saleh and some of these other guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'd really be interested to know from Titans fans and, frankly, decision makers involved in this. How does McDaniel factor into all that? Because I think there are plenty of people out there that would rather have Stefanski than McDaniel. I don't know. I think you could probably go either way on that. Look, Harbaugh, I think, clearly would be the belle of the ball. LaFleur, despite my current disdain for him, would be up near the top of the list. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that. So, Matthew from Jolton puts it out on the text line, says, assuming the Packers fire LaFleur, he becomes second on my list behind Harbaugh. I don't remember a coaching carousel as crazy as this one. And again, I have no idea what's going to happen tonight. What if the Pittsburgh Steelers go out there and just get thrashed by the Texans? What happens with Tomlin? I mean, do you add him to the list in all this?
Hey, if you're a Titans fan, you hope so. Now, granted, that also means so then you add a big-time coach and you also add an opening that is very coveted, but still, you're going to end up with a good coach. You're going to end up with a coach with a good profile, right? Through all this stuff. Yeah, that would be. I think already, I can't remember a coaching carousel like this. If you had Tomlin and Harbaugh after the tenures they've had, and consistency, there would be. I don't think there'd be anything close to this.
And again, it's hard for me to get there on Tomlin. But what if they just get smoked tonight? They've made the playoffs. Making the playoffs under Tomlin has not really been the problem. It's been a long time since they put together any sort of deep run.
It seems like Packers fans are with you. It seems like, okay, it's enough, LaFleur, right? That's about enough.
Yeah.
I feel like the same way with Steelers fans. If we're just going to go with fans, I think a lot of Steelers fans are like, yeah, great. It's good to be pretty good all the time. And that's enough of that.
Right.
We're the Steelers. We should. And again, my answer to them would be, well, you could have been way worse than this in some of these years, and you just don't have a quarterback. Now, how much of that is on him? They've made some choices that haven't worked out, but they haven't had a quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger.
What do you make of this from Keith, which I think is an interesting point? It says, at this point, with the amount of candidates that have head coaching experience, there really isn't any reason the Titans should take someone that's never been a head coach before. I mean, if you're looking for a coaching cycle of candidates who have head coaching experience, there's a whole lot out there, and there could be more coming today.
Okay, so let me counter that. Well, that's true. So I just want you to remember that right now the Seattle Seahawks, who have a pretty good chance of making the Super Bowl, are glad that they took someone that did not have head coaching experience. I would also say that the Jacksonville Jaguars and their fans, especially one particular reporter fan, are pretty happy that they took someone who had no head coaching experience. And Baltimore took a guy who had no head coaching experience, and Pittsburgh took a guy who had no head coaching experience, and on and on and on. So I hear what you're saying, But you might, if that's your mindset, you might miss out on someone like a lot of these coaches. By the way, San Fran, there's another guy.
Bears.
Same thing. Bears, there's another guy. Eagles, they just won the Super Bowl. People want to run him out of town. There's another guy who never had head coaching experience. I mean, look around the league. I mean, Dan Campbell. Like, retreads can work, but also it works a lot that you get someone who doesn't have head coaching experience.
For sure.
So don't bypass someone if you're who would be the top non-head coach that the Titans, are talking to here? The top non-head coach.
The top one? I mean, I like
obviously-
Shula.
Yeah, Shula. Yeah, I mean Shula. There you go.
We haven't heard anything about Joe Brady with the Titans. So
No, but he would be. But yeah, so Shula blows them away in the interview. You're like, this is going to be the next great coach. But
in a week, are they interested in Kubiak in
Yeah.
Seattle?
Yeah.
Like, I'd be interested in him.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like, I mean, I generally agree with the idea. We've been talking about the importance of doing it, but again, like there are a lot of success stories out there with teams that don't do that, and maybe in some cases they didn't have this roster of proven head coaches. But again, still, are you not happy? Well, some of those coaches I listed, did it not work out? Worked out awfully well.
Yes, I agree with everything you just said. I also acknowledge that you don't see coaching searches like this every year with this many candidates available that are, and we're kind of for the sake of this discussion, factoring in the LaFleur to this too. What if by the end of, let's say tomorrow or Wednesday, that Harbaugh's out there, LaFleur's out there, Tomlin is out there from Pittsburgh. I mean, it's a pretty crazy coaching cycle at that point. I mean, Harbaugh, Tomlin by themselves is a crazy coaching part of this, but to have all of it going on at the same time could be nuts.
Yeah, no doubt. And, I understand, like Trevor's like, if the Titans like to get another first-time dud, like Callahan. Apparently I did not see this. Did you see this? You interviewed for the Bucs OC job?
Yes.
I did see that, yes.
Okay. Interesting. Keith's counterpoint says, I see your point, but I think the Titans roster is so young they really need an experienced leader, someone to set the identity. Again, I hear you, but I think the identity's been set awfully well in Seattle, right? By someone who wasn't who had never been a head coach. So I'm just saying, keep an open mind to someone who might just be like, okay, I mean, this is the guy, even though all these other people have head coaching records.
I mean, it's interesting to get people's perspective on like how they would rank these coaches too. Like Chase from White Bluff says LaFleur would be 1, Harbaugh 2, McDaniel 3, Stefanski 4. And LaFleur is talking about, unlocking Ward and having your play caller. You're not having to worry about OC at that point too, which I get. I mean, that would be a benefit of a guy like LaFleur or a guy like McDaniel, as you hire the head coach and that they are good play callers at that point. But I mean, you can't, to me, base your entire decision on head coach of, well, he calls plays and we don't have to look for an offensive coordinator at that point.
Brian Callahan.
Yeah.
Also true of him.
Well, and again, like there's a difference between LaFleur and Callahan, just to point that out.
I'm glad
a little bit of a
so.
difference.
Thank you for confirming that you think so.
I would just, I would like to, but I'm just saying, like, I understand that they just hired a guy that calls plays. Like, to me, there's a difference between hiring Brian Callahan to come in here and call plays for the first time and Matt LaFleur, who has been calling plays for 7 years in Green Bay.
Yeah. No doubt. Yeah, and again, I think Stefanski has proven himself in that way. McDaniel certainly has proven himself in that way as a play caller, as an offensive designer. And yet, I mean, to me, it's wild chasing White Bluff. That I think Harbaugh is absolutely number one. I just, with everything that he has done as a coach, I think he'd have to be number one. Now, there's also the whole, or is everybody, are these teams going to have to like give him 100% control and all that stuff? I don't love that idea. If that's truly what he wants. I mean, things worked out pretty well for him with the arrangement they had in Baltimore, didn't it?
They did. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. We'll continue the conversation on the Titans coaching search. Coming up next hour, we will get into Miami and Indiana punching their ticket to the national title game. The Rex Rant coming up at 7:45. Corey Curtis at 8 o'clock. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. We are taking your thoughts on the Titans, the latest in the coaching search, 615-737-1025. We've talked about John Harbaugh, Rossini putting it out over the weekend that he was spending some time studying film of Jackson Dart and Cam Ward, which obviously captured the attention of Titans fans. No word yet on exactly where John Harbaugh is going to interview, but it does sound like he's going to narrow the list down and maybe 3 teams, maybe 4 teams get up involved in that process. So we'll see what happens on that front. No word yet on exactly what the future looks like for Matt LaFleur in Green Bay after their loss over the weekend against the Chicago Bears. So I would assume we will find out something on that in the next day or two. And then maybe potentially you're adding him to the list. And then there is another game tonight. You got Houston and Pittsburgh in the final game of Wild Card Weekend, which no longer is the weekend, on Monday Night Football. And what happens with Pittsburgh? Like, if they win, then obviously I think you'd feel pretty good about Tomlin moving forward there. But if not, it's going to be an interesting situation there with Pittsburgh, and people have been screaming about Tomlin around there for a long time. So could you actually add him to the list of all this? So we'll see what happens on the Pittsburgh part of this tonight. Ed says, not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but the Titans can mess anything up. If Lombardi came back to coach the Titans, there's a good chance they'd rename the award. So some Titans fans very down on the Titans and their selection process and all these things.
Congratulations. You've won the Jeff Fisher Trophy. He did get to Super Bowl, by the way.
Close to at least tying it.
No, I understand the pessimism. It is totally understandable at this point. But do you as a Titans fan, do you feel like you've got a good GM? I think there's been a little overstating of the early returns on Mike Berganzi, but I also think he's smart, and I think you got a chance there. Well, this organization hired him, so this organization could hire a good coach. Wasn't that long ago they had like good coaching and GMing with the Tennessee Titans. Remember, 4 years ago, number 1 seed in the AFC. 4 years ago, number 1 seed.
By the way, we mentioned Mike McDaniel interviewing with the Titans this week. He is also interviewing with the Browns, the Falcons, and the Ravens. And he's also interviewing for the Lions OC job. So you got these head coaching interviews that are taking place for him. He's going to be interviewing for the offensive coordinator position for the Lions as well. And Pelissero pointed this out a few minutes ago on Twitter, and it's worth considering. I mean, McDaniel was an assistant coach with the Falcons when Matt Ryan, who just got hired as the president of football in Atlanta, was the NFL MVP and went to the Super Bowl there. So there is a connection between McDaniel and Matt Ryan.
And they can still be friends. Say, hey, buddy, good luck. And they can not go coach them. But, yeah.
I mean, people make a lot of these connections all the time. Right. And sometimes there's gas to it. Like sometimes it means things. I mean, depending on who these coaches are, they're probably connections with a lot of people around.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty small fraternity if you really look at it. Like most people know most people. Some people don't like other people, like Ben Johnson. Boy, by the way, did Vrabel in his post game last night? Vrabel, fuck the Chargers, or did he do that, or is that the thing? I mean, like the debaggery of Ben Johnson was going to be the ramp, but then
other things happened.
Other things happened, but it should be mentioned today. The team actually put out that video, which means 100% that he said yes, you should put that. Like all these coaches and they're sitting there like Vrabel a few weeks ago, bleep them, right? Okay, on the sideline to his players. Yeah, great, everybody says that. But you scream it in the locker room, and they're like, yeah, social media team, put that out there. You are a hell of a D-bag. I mean, Ben Johnson's like the Lane Kiffin in the NFL all of a sudden. Like it hasn't taken long. So good luck to you, Ben.
See how it goes for him.
It's going. Things are going well right now.
They are
saying things are going well. Enjoy it right now.
They are indeed. On the Stefanski front, the Titans put out the list over the weekend of people that they've interviewed. So they just kind of released all the 7 at the same time. And, it's not like these interviews were a secret last week, but it was Anarumo, Spagnuolo, Nagy, Vance Joseph, Kevin Stefanski, Mike McCoy, Jason Garrett have all officially been interviewed by the Tennessee Titans at this point. So you're talking about 7 candidates that have been interviewed to this point. You got more coming this week, and that's not even factoring in, Joe. I mean, Saleh has been a connection that's been made here. We've talked about McDaniel. Do they have plans to look at like a Kubiak in Seattle at some point when that opportunity becomes available, now that they're going to be back in the fold coming up this next week? So I would imagine that if you're a Titans fan, somebody was asking me this over the weekend, like, are the Titans going to name their head coach this week? I mean, I guess it's possible, but this could still drag on a little bit here.
Yeah, it could go a bit. Just imagine if all this stuff, let's say like LaFleur opens up, he talks to you. Let's say Harbaugh likes the Cam Ward film, he talks to you. They have all these different people, and then Jason Garrett's the hire. like totally fair points, like made by TD last week, and people, it's like, let's step back and calm down, but still, imagine that.
I can imagine the fan base reaction to that.
Oh, what a day that would be in Titans land.
No, I would like to point out, I mean, one of the days on this show that will live in infamy is when the Vols hired Josh Heupel.
Yeah.
It's like, who in the heck is that?
Why would you do this?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
And, I understand that we'll see what he does moving forward here, but I think we would all agree it has been a good hire for Tennessee, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, and also if you want to go to all that stuff, it's like, wow, that Rand Carthon, that was one hell of a presser. Oh, that Brian Callahan, by golly, that guy is as sharp as a firecracker.
Exactly.
Like, that makes no sense. Sharp as a firecracker. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you could run into some sharp firecrackers, I guess.
I suppose. Yeah. That he's just a cracker jack. I don't know. There's some sort of saying that I'm missing there. That guy is just a genius.
How about this from JC in Goodlettsville? I figured this might come up today. Said A.J. Brown showed again why a trade of him wasn't crazy if he valued team chemistry.
Yeah, okay, JC. Yeah, I know. They've only been to a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl. He's been one of the top 5 receivers in the league every year. Yeah, team chemistry. Yeah, there you go. It's all fine. The trade was good. A.J. was reading a book on the sideline on self-help. Come on, man. You're not serious with this crap, are you, JC?
Look, I figured that might come up today. There are clearly some things going on with A.J. Brown in Philadelphia right now.
Finally, we won the trade.
It's been pretty successful tenure there for him.
Yeah,
to this point.
Yeah, now I do think that
dropped a couple passes yesterday.
He did, and one of them was like it was fingertips, but yeah, that one over the middle, like, you got to have that one. He will be somewhere else, I believe, right? I think.
I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could happen with Philly again, right after winning the Super Bowl and
having played in another one.
Yeah, and winning 12. Would they win 12, 11 or 12 games this year? Through all this turmoil, but at the same time, I think there are some changes coming.
Keith says, "I hope you guys think the next hire is awful based on your track record." Titans hire sucks.
John Harbaugh, what has he ever done? Boo!
I'll tell you this: if you want me to think the next Titans hire is awful, you better hope they hire LaFleur.
Yeah, that's the thing. If it's LaFleur, Keith, you will not have to. Although I'm going to have to.
Could be really good news for the Titans at that point.
I'm going to counterbalance it. You probably won't want me to appear on the show that day and say anything positive about him, because I think it would be a good hire. But call me crazy. Bears fans, you know what? Go enjoy your. I've got enough texting with Ryan from Chicago about the Bears. I don't need to hear it from Bears fans. You are the most lucky, propped up, garbage team I've ever seen at this point in the playoffs, and you're going to get crushed by the Rams.
Interested to see how that goes. By the way, shout out to former Blackman High School quarterback Jawan Jennings for his touchdown pass in the game yesterday. That was a pretty good ball he threw.
No, you could see the quarterback right there in him, because that was on the run, on the move, perfect spiral right over the shoulder.
Yeah, it was a great throw.
And he was open, but it was like that was a dime. Jawan Jennings, man, he's tough.
Somebody put up the recruiting rankings too. Like he was a dual threat quarterback coming out of high school, and it's like Jawan Jennings. I forget where he was on the list, but it was like fifth on the list, and then like right underneath him, it was like, oh, there's Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson and Darnold right underneath him. It's like Jawan Jennings outranked all those guys.
Yeah, maybe he should have gone that route, man.
Maybe. 615-737-1025 our phone number. The national championship tickets have been punched in the college football playoff. We will break down Miami and Indiana. And what a performance again by Kirk Cignetti and Indiana. We'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
I've actually not played in Hard Rock before, but I've been to a lot of games there. And I mean, it's a very full circle moment for myself. If you open Google Maps and put my address, the University of Miami campus, it's under a mile away. And I, walk there, bike there, play basketball rec games in the offseason there. And it means a lot to me. However, I think the national championship means a lot to everybody. So I wouldn't want it any other way, on a great stage that the Indiana Hoosiers are going to have to, compete their butt off. They're a great team and really looking forward to the opportunity.
Coach, I know you're thinking about the next game, but when will you stop and appreciate how special and how historic all of this has been?
I'm really not thinking about the next game. I'm thinking about cracking open a beer.
All right, well, go celebrate with your family. Congrats. Enjoy that beer, Coach.
Thanks.
Indiana gets it done again. They destroyed Oregon, 56-22, the final score, as Indiana punches their ticket to the national title game to take on Miami in Miami, which is also very interesting. Joe, what did you make of the utter destruction that the Indiana Hoosiers put forth to the Oregon Ducks in the semifinal on Friday?
Two of the most awkward people I've ever seen about to win it all together. Awkward in totally different ways.
Yes.
Signetti and Mendoza. I don't know. What's the movie Up? Someone had that as like Signetti is the old guy and Mendoza is the
Russell.
Yay! Yay! Or like sitting the bus, that bus meme, where there's somebody who's like, like looking out one window and they're so miserable. The other person's like, yay, so great.
Mr. Fredrickson?
Oh my gosh. It's amazing. And it's amazing that some people are so stupid that they don't understand that they're just going to kick the crap out of everyone they play. For example, me, who picked Oregon after watching what they did to Alabama, talked myself into, well, maybe Alabama is just, kind of just really dropped the ball and not very good. No, man, they are an absolute wagon. I mean, Oregon, and I was fooled by Oregon against Texas Tech, which apparently just stinks. I mean, just humiliation delivered by Indiana. It's incredible. And again, you're not going up and down the roster and seeing a bunch of 5 stars or 4 stars or really even high NFL picks, although they've got some guys who are going to play in the NFL. But, like, not a lot of high picks. But they are just they don't make mistakes. They are Signetti outcoaches other coaches, period. Like, they are going to have answers because of him and his staff. And then they don't make mistakes. They're mature, they're solid, and they just bludgeon you over time. And yes, they're old. This is the new knock on. It's like everybody's got to find a new thing with Indiana. The new knock is, well, it's just a bunch of old. Yeah, okay, well, yeah. I mean, there is something to be said for build a team with mature, grown men who still have eligibility, and they might just beat up on some 19-year-old 5 stars.
Well, look, they are putting together a resume that if they go out there and they beat Miami in the national championship game, and particularly if they beat Miami handily in the national championship game, I mean, they're putting together all-time team status sort of resume, right? And a lot of people over the weekend were discussing Indiana compared to like 2019 LSU. And I would assume the NFL talent from LSU and the NFL talent from Indiana are not going to be remotely the same.
Not close.
Would be my guess. I mean, who knows? Maybe Mendoza comes out as like the greatest quarterback of all.
Well, I mean, you're going to have a Heisman winning number 1 quarterback, but then it gets different.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think there's Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson walking around in Indiana right now. But they are just absolutely destroying people. I mean, they kicked the crap out of Alabama. They just totally destroyed Oregon. They're a 7.5-point favorite in the national championship game against Miami. And look, I understand Miami's been incredibly impressive, and their defense has played really well. But, I mean, I got to be honest with you, Joe, my expectation is that they may hang around for a little while, and then Indiana's probably going to win by like 17 points, because why would I not think that at this point?
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, you can talk yourself into Miami can run the ball. Malachi Toney is an incredible talent. Carson Beck's playing well. They've got absolute studs in the defensive line. You can talk yourself into, oh, by the way, they're playing in Miami. Does that matter? The ticket prices for this thing are outrageous.
Thousands.
Which to me suggests Indiana.
I agree. So I actually think it'll be more of a home game for Indiana in Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be interesting. Hopefully it'll be about 50-50. That'd be great, right? That'd be great for a national championship game. But no, I'm with you. You can talk yourself into Miami being good enough to win this game. But at this point, I just expect the Hoosiers to kick the crap out of them.
It's kind of weird to me. Sorry, that Indiana, their offense relies so much on back shoulder throws.
It does. And
The Mendoza to that other wide receiver.
Elijah Surratt. Yeah.
I can't think of his name. Yep.
Yeah.
It's like every other play is some back shoulder throw to the sideline, and it's there every time.
It's a layup for them, even though when the coverage is good. Yeah.
You just don't see that as like a regular offensive play over and over like
and
that.
then Mendoza he'll take off. He's fat. He's got speed. Like, he'll take off and beat you. And they have two good backs. And then Becker, the kid who, by the way, my son played 7-on-7 with him.
He made a nice catch.
Would not have guessed that this was going to materialize. But he's going to be. I mean, he's going to play in the league.
Yeah,
like this. He is a deep threat. And it's amazing to see what this team has done. And again, they got a bunch of good players on D. They don't have stars. They don't have high picks. I think they have like probably 5-6 guys who are going to be in the NFL in some form, but none of them are clear. They're just like good football players who the sum of the parts is it's all that. And again, the coaching, and I think what he does, he is Saban, right? I mean, he's from the Saban tree, but I just think that he has such a great system and I remember last year doing a story. It was like, They don't practice long. Like, it's very, very – they don't like – he's big on, no, we're not doing the stay till 3 a.m. crap. Go home. Do your work from 9 to 5. Not 9 to 5, but it's whatever, 7 to 7, and leave.
Get out. Yeah.
And, like, there's a lot about what he does. I think a lot of people are going to try to copy, but it all, like, makes sense. None of it is, like, changing the formula of football or anything, but it just all makes sense, and it's just business-like and just so impressive.
Well, and again, like, the quarterback matchup in that game, Dante Moore, Fernando Mendoza, really good on paper heading into it. And, everything just I can't get over how easy everything has looked for Mendoza to this point. And that's, obviously he deserves credit for that. I think his coaching staff deserves credit for that. Whatever they're doing offensively, I mean, people just can't figure it out. Like, they cannot stop him offensively. And, if you were thinking that Alabama was just, Kalen DeBoer has totally lost control at Alabama and they're just not very good. Look, maybe I don't know what the future is going to look like for Alabama and Kalen DeBoer here. But, I mean, we know what Oregon is. Like, Oregon is a really good program. I think Dan Lanning is a really good coach. Typically when they lose to teams that are very, very good and, like, competing for national championships. And it was clear. I don't know. You tell me, Joe, early in the second quarter, that they had no shot of winning that game against Indiana. None.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like the pick six right away. Then Oregon, really good drive. Really good drive. Touchdown. Like, oh, okay, here we go. But it just didn't matter. They couldn't get a stop. And by the way, Oregon has some dudes on D who are going to be high picks. And they have like the talent differential, again, by recruiting stars. But it's massive between those two teams. And Dan Lanning's a really good coach. Like, they're going to get there, and I'm sure at some point he's going to win it. We'll get into in the next few years until he does, just like a lot of coaches until they do it. The noise gets a little louder because last year he got blown out by Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. This year he gets blown. He's going to be fine. They're going to be really good. And yes, they just got completely outclassed. It also is really interesting, just quick aside on the Dante Moore NFL thing, because I watch him and I'm like, no, you go back to college.
I agree.
And yet he'll go like number 2 or number 3 if he comes out. I don't. That's going to be a fascinating decision this week from him, because I'm sure he could probably get $5-6 million to play for Oregon this year. By the way, did you see AL.com reported, a quick aside to the aside, but reported the Ty Simpson numbers
Like
offered
$6.5 million?
Offered 6.5 by who? By
I didn't see who it was by. I just saw it $6.5 million.
Oh, it's by Miami.
Okay.
Yeah, offered
That
6.5 by Miami. But Tennessee came in just at a light 4.
Yeah.
According to AL.com.
So,
Just 4. But I think Ty Simpson's going to stay in there. And, and he's going to be like the third. And if Dante Moore makes a decision, which I think would be the right decision, to not start the clock on getting bounced out of the NFL. That's what it is, right? So you're not ready. You're going to go high, but it's going to demand you play. You're going to play. You're not going to be good, and you're going to be out, as opposed to make $6 million and get better.
Yeah.
Right. And if that's the case, Ty Simpson is the number 2 quarterback in the draft.
We've talked about Mendoza from an NFL standpoint, and I think it's pretty clear he's probably going number 1 overall. Has the run that he's been on made you think any differently about like maybe the type of pro that he can be?
Yeah, it has for me. I mean, Charles Robinson came out a few weeks ago and he mentioned like some people think Cousins is the ceiling or like, and I get the comparison. I do. But I think he's better. I think, again, he can hurt you with his legs. He has a good feel for that, and he can run. And so I still, I don't know that he has the greatest arm or anything like that. But I have to look at it. Does Cignetti give him the answers? Is he going first read a lot? I do think that, but that's just because like they're so good. But I feel better about him. How about you?
I mean, look, I don't know what to make of how easy it looks for him right now. Like, how much of that is him? How much of that is just their operation and what they're doing? I don't know the answer to that, but I mean, if you're a Raiders fan sitting here right now, the way that he's playing, don't you have to kind of be salivating a little bit of him? And look at our guy. I mean, look, goofiness aside, I'm interested to see what that looks like in the NFL, but he's balling right now.
Yeah. Now, if I'm a Raiders fan, I probably a couple weeks ago was like, I know we're going to take him because he's just the top quarterback. And now you might starting to be getting a little bit excited.
Yeah. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. More your reaction to get to from Indiana, punching their ticket to the national championship game, continuing to react to wild card weekend in the NFL as well. The Rex Rant coming up at 7:45. Corey Curtis with us at 8 o'clock. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Smashville Live, returning Wednesday night at 6 o'clock on 102.5 The Game. Live from Brewhouse South in Cool Springs. You can meet your Preds players up close and personal. Also get your chance for autographs and pictures as well. That's Wednesday night at Brewhouse South in Cool Springs, and only on 102.5 The Game. We are taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. One texter says, and with the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft, the Raiders have already ruined a quarterback's career. Normally one could tank a drug test and attempt to slide in the draft to avoid getting selected by the Raiders.
Mendoza turns into a
Please, don't take me.
Mendoza just shows up at the combine like, screw all you guys. Wearing a bandana. It's like, yeah, that's right.
Eli says,
Renegade.
Eli says, if you're the Raiders, you better be excited about Mendoza. He's a better version of Justin Herbert coming out. What do you make of that?
Well, okay, so no. Like this is the difference with Mendoza. Like Justin Herbert's physical gifts and physical talent is well beyond Fernando Mendoza.
I would agree.
But it doesn't mean that Mendoza can't be a more successful quarterback than Justin Herbert.
Yep.
You know, the Cousins stuff is, again, Cousins is a great example of, you know, processing and accuracy can overcome. He's not physically gifted at all. You know, he just isn't. Mendoza, I think,
no disrespect to Kirk.
Yes. Mendoza is more than Kirk, I believe, but he's closer to that than like he is like a Herbert. Herbert's a unicorn physically.
Who's faster, Cam Ward or Fernando Mendoza? Line them up in a race.
Fernando Mendoza's quite a bit faster. Oh, yeah. No, seriously.
I think you think Cam Ward is like a tortoise out there.
I mean, if you watch him run,
I mean, he's not fast. I know that.
He's slow. Now, again, you can be slow and you can be
Shifty.
elusive. Like Brady also ran like a diseased goat. Okay. But
Joe finally called him a goat. Took long enough.
Yeah. Well, he is the goat.
That's what I'm saying.
He's in a way, he's a goat. But great feel in the pocket for eluding, and he'd go get you 6-7 yards when he needed to. Like Cam Ward can do that too.
That's good.
Yeah.
Just compared Cam Ward's running ability to Brady.
By the way, yeah, that's about right. I think it's close. Jason,
He's faster than Brady.
I mean, I think they're both slow. Jason Gilleville says, I like how Joe calls me on the A.J. Brown comment, who could flame at any moment, yet he picked Oregon over Indiana after domination. Yeah, JC, I suck at picking games. Your comment about A.J. Brown was dumb. They're both things are true. Very simple.
One texter says, this is honestly the first game I've really watched Mendoza. Is it me or is he going to be the next Sam Bradford? I did see the Bradford comparison a lot this weekend. Yeah.
Huh.
And look, Bradford, I mean, injuries were really his story in the NFL. So, I mean, he did not work out in the NFL. How much of that was because he wasn't very good and how much of that was because he just had injury after injury in the league? I have no idea. But, I mean, the style comparison is interesting.
How is Mendoza in his accuracy? You think
pretty
it'll carry
accurate to
over
me.
pretty
good? I mean, the throws he made, the back shoulder and the long touchdown looked pretty accurate to me.
Yeah.
Tremendously accurate. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's accuracy over huge cannon arm, right? But I think he's got enough arm. But yeah, the accuracy is fantastic.
From a draft standpoint, the interesting part about this with the Titans is I think it's clear Mendoza. I mean, clear. It's January the 12th. I think Mendoza's going number 1 overall to the Raiders. Is there going to be another quarterback that's going to go before the Titans are picking at number 4? That's the interesting part, because if you're the Titans at this point, you're hoping yes.
Yeah.
So all those players get knocked down where you've got as much of a pick of the litter as you can have at number 4 with all these positions not named quarterback. And I'm just wondering, is there going to be another quarterback that goes before the Titans other than Mendoza? Like, I have no idea if Moore's coming out or not. Even if he does, like, I'm with you, he'll probably go way higher than he should at this point. But like, when the NFL teams go through the evaluation, are they going to be comfortable taking Moore at like number 2 overall or number 3 overall? Like, are the Jets like, yep, give me Dante Moore right now? I mean, it's the Jets, so maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. There's all kinds of jokes. Hey, it looks like a Jets quarterback. Here we go. I mean, I think so. Like, I think that's the thing. If you're a Titans fan, root for Dante Moore to come out, even though it may not be the smartest thing. But yeah, I mean, I think that teams are going to talk themselves into it. That's what usually happens, and quarterbacks go way higher than they're supposed to. The 1 year that it didn't, was that year, the Pickett, Malik Willis year. But
maybe Malik just needed some time.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Should have gone number 2.
He should have gone that high, I guess. But it actually is funny when you think about it. He's a great example of, expectations are low. You have time to develop. All of a sudden, wow, you're pretty good. Versus, again, if Dante Moore comes out, I'd be, if I was him and if I was in his camp, I would just be worried about, so everything's going to be accelerated, including your exile from whatever place you're drafted. And that's how it goes. So that's why I would wait. But again, if Anthony Richardson waited, would things be different for him? I don't know. But everybody was like, oh my God, look at these skills. Look at the talent, ability. He's got to go this high. And he's got to start this year. Yeah. And look at what has happened.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, one texter brings up, what about Beck? I think Beck has really helped himself here. Like, is Beck going to be a top 10 pick? Is Beck going in the first round after what he's put together? I mean, like I said last week, we were talking before last college football season about him potentially being a number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if Beck comes out and carves up Indiana, throws for 350 and wins it all, is there a team or is there a team or two who just like, why would this guy not be as good as anybody? He has the physical ability. Like, I would argue that Carson Beck physically, just measure everything out, he probably will outdo Fernando Mendoza.
I would assume.
So if he performs like this on this stage, because I think last game he helped himself without question late in that game with some of his throws. It's a really interesting thing with him. We could go to, he's going to be here. He's a UDFA. He's back in the top 10. Sure.
Yeah. Well, and then,
it just shows you the entire science of drafting a quarterback.
Well, and could somebody
whacked.
And we didn't even bring up Simpson. Like, he's going pro, so somebody could fall in love with him. Trinidad Chambliss was denied eligibility, so I guess he's going to try to go to the NFL here too. And I don't know exactly what sort of a draft profile he's going to have, but
he's 6 foot.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't dislike him at all.
But the quarterback pictures we sit here today on January 12th, as it relates to the Titans and who's going to be available come that 4th spot in the draft, I have no idea if there's going to be another quarterback taken beyond Mendoza in the top 4.
No idea. This could be Mendoza and then wait till the 2nd round or whatever draft, but I just don't think so. I think people will talk themselves, these quarterback needy teams will talk themselves into it. So it happens for the most part. And, frankly, the Titans did them last year.
They did.
Instead of moving down.
They did. We'll see what happens on that front. I can't wait. Every time Fernando Mendoza speaks now, can you imagine what he's going to be like if they win the national championship game? I've been thinking about it all weekend. It's like the Fernando Mendoza post-game interview after they've mopped the floor with Miami by 25 points. It's just going to be totally electric out there. Yeah. I can't wait.
The problem is that he's on so then he's on the desk and then he's up at the stage and he says the exact same things over and over again.
I'll be paying
attention
to
a different
right
question.
Off the field.
Yeah, right off the field will be pretty special, no doubt. Someone talking Todd Marinovich comparison. What in the world? Todd Marinovich was talented lefty who had all kinds of stuff going on. I don't know that one, man.
615-737-1025, our phone number. The Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode is coming up next. Corey Curtis will be with us at 8 o'clock. This is Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
I might lose my mind today.
And we want him to be nothing more than him.
And I swear he looks like a diseased chicken.
There was a lot of meat, you know what I mean? And of course I ate all of it.
Ran like a diseased goat. Knows his butt from his elbow. Do you know your elbow from your ass?
Well, we talked to him about being willing to spill some blood out there.
Vrabel leaving the field here stained in blood.
Fight the Chargers! Oh! There's no faux outrage. You're outraging me, mother farter. Shut up.
It's time for the Rex Rant, brought to you by Functional Medicine of Tennessee. Heal from the inside out. Check them out at functionalmedicineoftennessee.net. The Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. Every day at 7:45 here on the program.
What was the sort of like crowd cheering?
That
thing?
was Ben Johnson's locker room there.
Oh, lovely. Well, I was gonna rant about Ben Johnson today, mostly just for the benefit of our friend Ryan from Chicago, but something else is taking its place. We can get more into Ben Johnson later. We got some Bears fans on the text line who think their team doesn't suck. That's cute. It's adorable. Enjoy your little playoff win. It's going to come to an end. And yes, Matthew Stafford probably hates cold weather, and yet he's still going to beat your team. But today we need to talk about the sensation that's sweeping the nation. I guess we can just go to Liam Cohen's post-game press conference after losing a tough game to the Buffalo Bills yesterday. Here was a question from a media person at the press conference.
I want to tell you congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank
you.
you.
Hold your head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank
And
you.
you did a great job out there today.
Appreciate
so you
it.
just hold your head up, okay?
Thank
and
you,
ladies
ma'am.
and gentlemen, Duval, you the one, all
Thank
right?
you, ma'am.
keep it going. We got another season,
I
okay?
appreciate
Take
it.
care and much continued success to you and the entire team.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, so
Very nice lady.
she sounds very nice. She said that, and that was at the post-game press conference. And then Adam Schefter tweeted, like, this was awesome. And then a bunch of people who are in media, including me, were like, my quote tweet to Schefter was like, are you saying awesome sarcastically? And then a bunch of people, and it's just been this huge thing on social media. Now, I don't want to yell at anybody today because all I'm getting is yelled at about this. But I have to just ask. So first of all, this is a woman. I'll get her name. She is like the editor of the Jacksonville Free Press. So she is a credentialed media person. I think it's great if fans of the Jaguars like say nice things to Liam Cohen.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
You send him something again when he's walking off the field, say, hey man, great job. He did a great job. Jacksonville Jaguars fans should be excited about it. I'm not mad. It's not the end of the world. It's not the biggest deal. I mean, really, Schefter causes this whole thing with his stupid tweet. Like, if he didn't tweet this, I mean, we probably wouldn't have known it happened, right?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, what happened?
LaFleur's getting an extension, I think.
Oh, my gosh. Right in the middle of the rant. LaFleur's getting an extension. Do you want to switch the rant? You can take the rant if you like.
Somebody punch me.
Yeah, here we go. Schefter's right. Speaking of Schefter, hi, Shefty. See, this is stuff you should do, Schefter. Report NFL news, okay? We don't need your commentary on anything. But, yeah, here you go. Matt LaFleur expected to try to work out an extension. All right. Well,
Expected to try? How
What does try mean?
well,
how hard do we try?
yeah, that is a weird.
I mean, that would suggest to me that he's probably not getting fired.
yeah, that is a
Anyway,
weird-
go back to your rant. I couldn't help but have a visceral reaction in the middle of it. Sorry.
that is a weird framing of the whole thing. So look, again, I'm not mad about this. I've just been on a complete muting frenzy on Twitter because the quote tweet, and then Sparks tweeted something. Again, everybody's saying the same thing, which is like, guys, no offense to her. It seems like a very nice person, kind words. Press conferences are just it's a very limited amount of time to try to get information.
Not the spot for that.
You're trying to get information.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. And I don't know how it is with the Jags press, or maybe it's a little different. They don't have the biggest press corps. They probably have one of the smallest press corps, actually. But you might get a couple questions in after a game. This is the end of the season game. There's a lot that went on in that game. So, this ESPN goofball just like these self-important journalists. No, it's just not the place for it. I'm sorry. It's not the end of the world, but the angry reaction and what I'm basically getting like on Twitter is like, this is why your industry's failing. And it's like, because we're not like, I have a question. Mike, you're amazing. And I just want you to know that you're amazing. And I believe in you. Have a great off season. Next season's going to be even better. Thanks, Mike. It's just like, that's just not press conference is not when you do it. I'm sorry. So if you hate media people, that's fine. I mean, I think some of this is just, here we go. Robert says Joe's just jealous of Schefter. That's it. There you go. It's always jealousy or,
What exactly would you be jealous of Schefter about in this situation?
Well, I guess I definitely am jealous of Schefter's bank account. He makes a lot of money sucking up to everyone and not being a journalist in any way. I mean, I guess I just don't understand why people get so mad at us for saying, this just isn't the place for
it's
it.
a pretty, to me, pretty simple here. Like, I'm sure she's a nice lady. Sounded like a really encouraging person there. The post-game press conference in a media setting, probably not spot for that. Like, it's pretty simple.
Right. And it happens sometimes. Like last year, I was covering Louisville in Rupp Arena. They lost. I think Creighton crushed them in the NCAA tournament. And there was a situation a little bit like this, which was like basically a Louisville like fan magazine. It wasn't this over the top, but it was like, we're just so proud of what you did this year. And it's just like, dude, again, what are you going to do? You're going to roll your eyes and say, all right, move on. But there is limited time. And sometimes like there's more questions than you can get in, like, especially when a team loses a tough game, those things can get condensed and people can be like, okay, that's it. And you don't get in all the questions that you want to get in. Like it's actually a thing that does happen.
It does.
Ben from Carousel City, I guess that kills that Nashville has the softest media narrative.
I would have paid a lot of money to have Kuharski be a part of that press conference and that happened here. You imagine, like, at the end of the year, Mike McCoy, you just keep your head up.
Yeah.
You guys did a great job. You keep your head up.
You're wonderful. You're so wonderful.
Yeah, it's just, Yeah, Robert. Yeah, well, Schefter started this. I'm mad at Schefter, Robert. I am. I'm not jealous. I am mad at Schefter.
I thought Cohen handled himself actually.
I thought it was pretty
well.
What do you say? Like, thank you.
I mean, after something like that, you're pretty down, and he was like, "Yes, ma'am, thank you." Like, I don't know. It just would have thrown me off. Cohen was exceedingly nice during that.
Cohen was like, "You shut up."
I was really hoping for a nice Duval from him to, bookend the season, like the first hire and then the end of the playoffs, like just put it together. He didn't deliver.
She said Duval. He could have given the Duval right back.
He could have, but
Duval, Duval.
He seems to be pretty hesitant to do that in the aftermath of the first one.
I do agree with Ben from Cumberland Cities. I'm not going to lie. I need someone like this one in my life on the daily, just to encourage you. I agree.
I agree.
It's a very good thing. To say nice things to people. It is. It's a good thing. I just saying, like, this is not the forum for that. Very small periods of time that you're trying to get information from people. It's okay. Thanks, Schefter.
Titans fans, if you're wanting Matt LaFleur to be your next head coach, I guess that's not going to happen.
Well, sorry, Titans. Sorry, Titans fans, and sorry, Packers fans. Everybody's unhappy about this. Other fan bases that wanted Matt LaFleur, and the one that has him does not want him.
If the Packers are expected to try to work out a deal with Matt LaFleur in the coming days, I mean that would say that Harbaugh'll still be out there. So Titans fans, if you want John Harbaugh, I guess he's still going to be out there and available.
Well, we continue to wait to see. I'm serious. If John Harbaugh believes that Cam Ward is worth him interviewing with the Titans. It sounds very arrogant, but that's what it is, right?
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
It's going to be fascinating.
Wonder what kind of leash Harbaugh would get here.
From the fans, you mean?
No, from
Amy?
Yeah. Just like if you hire Harbaugh, how long are you in it for? Just see if it turns around. And if it doesn't, what happens?
Oh, and that's always a fair question with her.
Well, yeah, and also
getting ahead of ourselves here, of course.
The thing is, if you come here is if you go 8-9, you get celebrated now, right? It's been so bad for so long. So even if Harbaugh just has an average year, then it's like, oh, see, this guy
progress
makes all the difference. Yeah.
Yep. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Corey Curtis will be with us coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. We head to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our friend, still our friend, Corey Curtis from News 2 to the program, brought to you by Tennessee Men's Clinic. Corey, good morning. Congratulations. How we doing?
I'm good. I watched a 10-minute video of Packer podcasters watching the game last night.
I bet you did.
That was the best 10 minutes maybe of my life, next to my child's birth.
How are we doing this? Like, how would you like me to proceed with the nail painting that now is my responsibility?
You know, how old's your child now?
She's 2.5.
Probably old enough to do it if you want to let her do it.
I think she is. She would probably enjoy that.
Yeah, and I would like her to paint one nail navy and the other orange, alternating.
Okay.
So I feel like this should be like, I feel like Robby should be able to go out there and pick the most elaborate, expensive mani-pedi place in town, and you should foot the bill, Corey, is what I think should happen.
Did the Bears win?
They did.
Yes, but
now you have to pay for
it.
it.
Like, I think let's do this right.
How about we have the Lions pay for it since they didn't even make the playoffs?
There we go. We may have found something there.
I'm for that. They need to pay for a lot of things. A lot of misery.
Thanks for the OC, by the way.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, he's a real treat.
Okay.
What a real treat of a human he is.
That's like that handshake at the end of the game.
That was nice. That was the ultimate drive-by. My goodness. So, Corey, on the John Harbaugh front, Rossini put it out over the weekend that he's apparently looking at film at Jackson Dart, looking at film with Cam Ward, Albert Breer putting it out there that, the Titans could be a realistic landing spot. Obviously, I mean, Harbaugh is not going to interview with every team. He's going to narrow it down here, but what do you make of the idea of him giving serious consideration to the Titans and maybe some interest in Cam Ward on his front?
Well, I mean, if he had, look, there were stories about the frustration with Lamar Jackson, which I don't know that either one of them are going to say are true or not, because it doesn't do anyone any good to trash people on the way out the door, whether you're the one who got let go or not. But I mean, he's certainly, there's two young quarterbacks, and if you think one of them is the stuff, and you think one of them is going to be just like a joy to work with, then that's what you got to find. You don't want to walk into another headache, and you don't really want to walk into another blank bare cupboard. Okay, you don't want to walk. That's what makes what's Miami going to do at quarterback? That makes that thing tough there. But you got two teams with two young guys who look like they've got some ability. And if you think they're going to be awesome to work with, you probably think you can work with the rest of it as long as you've got the guy to pull the trigger. So I think it makes sense. You heard the other stuff about costing $20 million a year and wanting roster control. I mean, that also could make it problematic. The Titans just spent a lot of money on a stadium. But I don't think Borgonzi wants to give up roster control now that he's got all of that to himself. So that also remains to be seen.
Yeah, no, that part of it is absolutely interesting, and it's I get it on the Harbaugh front there, but also it's like you've been a great coach, you've had a lot of success, you've done that with an arrangement that involves a competent front office, right? Working hand in hand. It's like
arguably the best front office in the NFL.
Yeah. So I guess if you're him and be like, I don't think anybody else can be as good as these guys. So I want to have that power now. But I don't know. I thought he might be one of those guys who might be like, I'm actually like, I'm a great coach and I just need a good GM and let's go.
Yeah. I mean, there are coaches like that.
Yeah.
Who just want to coach. And, if you have it, basically they're an extension of your staff, but you obviously don't get to oversee them. But the thinking might also be, Joe, is there are 8 openings now.
Yeah,
one of these teams is going to give me what I want.
Yeah,
and if not, then he can settle for less.
But why is that? I get it. Like, you don't want to be stuck with a bad GM and who overrules you and all, but it's like, are you sure you want that power? Are you sure you want that extra responsibility? That's what always gets me with this.
I get it too, but what do we know about 99% of coaches? That they always think they know better and they know everything. And I'm not trying to pick on coaches out there. I love to coach.
Yes, we love the coaches just like they love them in Jacksonville.
Well, they oh my gosh, don't get me started on that. But you know, they think they can fix everything. They tend to be egomaniacs. So they tend to, you know, think, hey, I'm going to know. Look, if you want to give them some control over roster cuts, I can see that. But over the guys who come in the door, I really think you need to rely on the people that's their job, because that's what they spend all their time on, not just some of their time on. You know, there's only so many hours in the day. And, you know, I always say you have to hire people and let them do their jobs at some point. And, you know, you have personnel people for a reason. It's not a personal affront to your attack. You need to embrace it. This is their jobs, and they need to be good at their jobs. And you know what? If they're bad at their jobs, then they get fired instead of you. You know, you tell the owner, hey, look at the garbage I got in the door here. I can't win with this. Now, I know that's maybe not realistic, but, you know, you set yourself up for double the failure as well as double the success.
So, Corey, where do you come down on the Mike McDaniel front when he will be interviewed by the Titans later this week? How do you feel about the idea of him as head coach?
You know, it's interesting because his record's better than we all think it is, right? Yeah. I mean, he's won more games than we all. I mean, he's been to the playoffs twice. You know, when he had players, you know, when he had Jalen Ramsey and Tyreek Hill and Raheem Mostert, you know, they were winning games even with a guy that we think is kind of a middling quarterback at best in Tua. And I think he can really coach the run game as well. And, you know, this is a season that we thought was just over and the Dolphins were done. And he rallied them to the brink of, you know, getting kind of back in the thing late until they lost a few down the stretch. So he clearly didn't lose the team, even though they fired the GM. Things didn't go the way. And, you know, and it looked like he had a foot out the door, which ultimately he did. So I think he did a better job than was expected there. And I do think he's a good offensive mind. I do. I don't know if he is the leader that they're looking for. But I guess what I'm pointing to is I think his leadership skills must be a little bit better than I think. Now, I think he's a peculiar guy without question. And I think that might just be like, okay, love him as our OC. If we had a really strong team with a really strong leadership group, you know, where we're just rolling along, you know, if we're the Dallas Cowboys hiring Barry Switzer, you know, yeah, we could plug him in and just keep going. But I think they need it. They think they need a more rudimentary leadership style at this point. I don't think he's a terrible coach, and I think he's worth talking to.
So basically, you think he's a nerd and that nerds can't win in football, and yet Kurt Cignetti and Fernando Mendoza are laughing at that entire idea. I
don't think he's a nerd. I think he's peculiar.
He's definitely peculiar.
Peculiar. That's an interesting. Well, look.
By the way, apparently he was at Disney World yesterday. Did you see the picture of him just riding the merry-go-round out there? That was interesting.
I saw that was actually like live from.
I think it was real. Yeah.
Well, I said this earlier in the show, Corey, and then I promised that I would find who it was, and then I just didn't do that. But someone who played for him with the Dolphins, gave a pretty impassioned defense, like not defense, but basically like an endorsement of how good of a leader he is and how he doesn't BS people, and like players appreciate that and all that stuff. I mean, you know, to me, you look at everything, and like you said, when they had better talent, they were better. But also, like the Tua thing has been pretty brutal, and I feel like even this year, the way they kind of hung in there and kept playing, probably speaks well. Like I'm kind of warming to the idea
That's the way
him.
I am. I'm a little warmer to it than I thought I would be. Because I look back on it, they were pretty good, and there was some Super Bowl talk around them for a little while. If they had better quarterback play, how good would they be? With Nagy too, he only had one losing season in Chicago.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks he went 4-12 every year there, but he did not. Would he go like 12-4, 8-8, 8-8, and I don't know what the record was last year, 5-11 or whatever it was. People get tired of being average, which I don't blame them. But I guess what I'm saying is Nagy wasn't just a total disaster in Chicago. It just wasn't good enough for long enough. And I think look, when McDaniel's roster changed, his results changed. I think that's the best way to put it.
Corey, on the wild card weekend front, still one game to go tonight. We'll see what happens between Houston and Pittsburgh. But other than your Bears taking down my Packers, what stood out to you the most on wild card weekend this weekend?
That the league is just as up for grabs this year as we thought it was. This is the best wild card weekend I can ever remember, outside of the game last night. Those were 4 incredible football games, where it didn't matter what anyone was seeded. They went back and forth and down to the wire. And Roger Goodell just had to be just gleeful with what he was seeing. It's what, with the parity that the NFL wants, it's what it got. It got 4 great football games, with teams performing at a really high level. And ultimately what we saw, was quarterback play, and we saw a lot of really good quarterback play. But then we saw the difference between the guys who can deliver in crunch time and the guys who didn't. Matt Stafford, delivered for the Rams. Caleb Williams, delivered for the Bears. And, you had Brock Purdy and Juwan Jennings deliver for the 49ers. Because I watched that Eagles game, I go, okay, Jalen Hurts, here's your chance to tell everybody that you're a great quarterback and not just a good quarterback on a great team. And he couldn't do it. He didn't deliver. Trevor Lawrence had a great year. I'm not taking that away from him. But, 1 minute left, and all you need is a field goal, and you force a pass over the middle into tight coverage. It's a terrible decision. A terrible decision in a clutch situation. And, so he'll face those questions. And next up is going to be Sam Darnold. Sam's won some bigger games now, but it's the playoffs. It's different. We'll see what he's got and see if he can take, I'm not just saying it because it's the Bears, but I think it was a great statement by Caleb Williams that you make your money in the regular season and you make your legacy in the playoffs. I think it's 100% true. And you saw guys build on legacy, and you saw other guys build up on question marks about if they could do it in that moment. Now it's going to be easier for Hurts because he just got a ring last year, but I know they're excited about this year in Jacksonville, and they absolutely should be. But Lawrence had a chance to be a hero, and he didn't deliver.
Well, real fast, Corey, you brought up Duvall, so let's go to the post-game presser and just your because I've been told it's only self-important journalists who would care. It's an amazing moment. I don't know that it offended me, but it's just like it was a cringy eye roll moment for me. How would you describe it?
Yeah. Look, is it the worst thing that ever happened? Of course it's not. But to see Adam Schefter and people laud it as just this wonderful moment and more journalists should be this way. No, they shouldn't. Because you know what the woman did? She made herself the story. And that's not what our job is to do. Everyone is talking about her and what she said and how compassionate she is. And, it's great that she's compassionate and it's wonderful. But you know what you do? After he steps down from the podium, you walk up and you shake his hands and you tell him those things. It's not about putting on a show in front of everybody to say how hurt you are for him. Okay. That's a private moment, and you're supposed to be an objective journalist in the room. I know a lot of fans want us to be fans, and we are fans at times, but we successfully separate the two. We do. believe it or not, we successfully separate the two. And it's not professional. It's not. And, someone else could have asked a question that they wanted to legitimately ask in that moment. And we all have private correspondences with coaches from time to time where we tell them our feelings on things. But we don't do it in public settings because it's not about us. All right. It's not about us. It's not about our feelings. It's not about what we think. We have shows for that. We have talk shows for that. We have sports shows on television for that, where we get to say what we think. But in those public settings, it needs to be professional. And I had a conversation with a younger reporter about this yesterday, and he was on the other side of it, and he, thought I was a stodgy old sportscaster. I'm just trying to teach him the lesson that no, it's not about you. They will respect you for being respectful and professional. That's what they will respect you for, not for kissing their butts, when the time comes. There might be a coach who does that. He's probably in college somewhere. But mostly, even the Vrabels of the world appreciate when you're respectful and professional with them, whether they act that way or not. They understand it. They understand the job. And that's not the job. It's not the job. And, like I said, am I all bent out of shape about it? No, I am bent out of shape about all the people telling me how we all need to be more like that, because that is not true.
Corey Curtis, brought to you by Tennessee Men's Clinic every Monday morning at 8:00. He is with us on the program. Corey, thank you, and I will keep you updated on how the nail painting goes.
What day are we
make this happen?
I'm going to try to do it at some point this week.
If you go to
I got to figure out how to do
Below or the dollar store, you can buy nail polish really cheap. You don't have to.
That's good to know, because that was going to be my first question.
Corey,
yeah,
fine.
Yeah,
I'll find a place, and then I'll send you the bill, Corey.
Okay.
Joe, he is a big boy. He made the bet himself. All right.
I just want this to be nice.
Technically, that's not true. I did not make the bet myself, but I did agree to it.
You kind of forced him into the bet. I want it to look nice. I
did not. I didn't force him into anything.
No,
he walked into the room and asked me what I wanted to bet.
This came from this was decided. It's all good. I'll do it.
We had a nice Twitter follower who threw that bet out there, and I liked it. Now I could have worn a cheese, or made him wear a cheese grater instead. That post game was tremendous, by the way.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
3 of them wearing the cheese graters and Caleb grating the cheese on set. That was wonderful.
Ben Johnson acting like a 15-year-old in the locker room.
And I, it was interesting because I am 100% going to be truthful here. I texted Robby. I'm like, we're going to lose 40-3.
Yeah.
I mean, they were horrible the first half. And, I thought spotting the Packers a 21-3 lead was a nice enough thing to do and would be enough points, but it wasn't enough points. They were so bad in the second half that it wasn't enough points.
Just terrible. Absolutely terrible. Corey, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to say one more. Do you think LaFleur gets fired?
No, he's about to sign an extension, according to Adam Schefter. So,
are you kidding me?
No.
Wow, that's a tough sell.
Yeah, it is. But apparently they're working on it.
Oh boy.
Okay. All right. Later.
Thank you. On that note,
good luck to you.
We'll react to what Corey had to say coming up next. Get on the John Harbaugh, Matt LaFleur news front as it relates to the Tennessee Titans. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. We are taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. I got some tickets to give away to see the Preds take on the Edmonton Oilers at Bridgestone Arena coming up on Tuesday. Puck drop at 7 o'clock, a bobblehead series night featuring Dirks Bentley, an exclusive giveaway for the first 10,000 fans in attendance. Be caller 7-615-737-1025. Caller number 7 will win a pair of tickets to see the Preds take on Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and the Edmonton Oilers. Let's head to our phone line. Welcome in Adam in Portland to the program. Adam, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Dude, I gave up my chance to win Predators tickets just to tell you how sorry I am for you, Robby.
Well, that's how much you love me. Sorry.
Yeah, no, hey, so that's how I felt at the end of September, how you felt last night, so or whenever the Packers got played. Hey, I thought they had that game for sure, dude. Like, I'm like, the Bears are frauds. And then, I don't know, it hit me at the same time probably it hit you, where I'm like, this doesn't look good, Robby. So, yeah, I was talking to you emotionally the whole game, man, just so you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is the problem, man. With Harbaugh, I feel like I had no hopes that we were going to get Harbaugh. And when that news breaking that he's watching film, I think Cam looks better than Jackson Dart. Like, Cam didn't have a whole lot of 30-yard passing games, and he didn't have any help. So I think the Titans are right back in it. Am I setting myself up to get my heart broke? Because I feel like I'm going to get my heart broken with it.
Well, that's a great question, Adam. Thank you for the call. I mean, look, when Harbaugh shook loose there, we talked about it on the show. My expectation was that he probably would not consider the Titans very much.
I think you may not have said, but I said 5%.
Yeah.
I think
so.
They would interview with him.
Now he still may not interview with the Titans. So it's important to put that out there. Just because Rossini put it out there that he's watching film on Cam Ward does not mean that he's going to interview with the Tennessee Titans. But as you pointed out earlier, now if you're browsing the openings that are currently available, if you're him, and I guess at this point it doesn't look like Green Bay is going to be added to that list, right? I mean, we talked about LaFleur earlier in the show, and Schefter put it out there that they are working towards an extension or trying to get an extension done. So doesn't look like LaFleur is going to be fired. So the Green Bay job is not coming open. So if that's the case, you're looking at the Giants, you're looking at the Falcons, you're looking at the Titans, you're looking at the Browns, like all these different jobs that are open right now. And I mean, if you're going by quarterback, right? Like, how are we feeling about Atlanta's quarterback situation right now? I have no idea. Like, is Michael Penix
not super
any good? And can he stay healthy? Yeah. Who's going to be the quarterback in Cleveland? Like, are they rolling with Shador again next year? So, I mean, Dart and Ward makes sense from that standpoint to be pretty attractive. And we've talked about the Giants part of this. Like, I know Neighbors is coming off an ACL, but they do have Malik Neighbors on their roster. They've got some pretty good pieces on the defensive side of the ball. I think their roster is probably a little bit better than the Titans is right now in terms of overall where they are.
Yep.
But like, if you're Harbaugh and you look at the film and you like what you see from Cam Ward, I took note of that report from Rossini the other day. I think it's very interesting to this. And if it ends up to the point where he actually interviews with the Titans, I mean, Joe, wouldn't that tell you that he at least liked what he saw on film from Cam Ward?
It has to. I think it has to mean that. Now, what this does, and great reporting by Diana, what this does is it sets up an either-or situation. So, yes, if he interviews, that's a big deal for the Titans. I think you have to take it seriously. I know someone texted earlier about the Dumb and Dumber meme, so you're saying there's a chance. But, like, I would have to actually think there's a chance. And, yes, that has to be a commentary on Cam Ward. If he doesn't interview with the Tennessee Titans because of that report, like, to me, that's going to be taken as a negative commentary on Cam Ward. And there are other factors that we all have to keep in mind with something like that. I mean, the ownership is got to be the biggest deterrent for anybody looking at this job. Has to be. You can't do all the things you've done the last few years and not expect for people to notice and not expect to pay for it. But it kind of does set up this becomes a public referendum on Cam Ward.
And again, like, the quarterback, the bottom line is, for the jobs that are available right now, particularly if Green Bay is not going to be available, and Buffalo just won yesterday, and who knows what's going to happen with Tomlin in Pittsburgh. But even them, like, what's their quarterback situation looking like moving forward? Is Rodgers coming back next year? Like, so my point is, Arizona, your quarterback is in flux. Cleveland, you have no idea what's going on at quarterback right now. Atlanta, your quarterback can't stay healthy, and there's some injury concerns there. And like, all of a sudden, if you at all like what you see on film from Cam Ward, maybe that's enough to overcome some of this ownership stuff. It's very interesting on the John Harbaugh front to see when that comes at some point, I assume this week, when he narrows down his list and decides who he's going to interview with. If the Titans are on that list, I think Titans fans are going to get very excited at that point.
I think there's a reason to get excited, to hope that he might actually be your coach. But also, again, I respect his opinion. And, I mean, he's won a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. They drafted, and he totally changed his offense for Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
I trust him as a quarterback evaluator. The guy's been in this league forever. But your pros list is going to – Amy Anna Story is going to be in the cons list for every single person. Like, it's just a matter of how worried are you about it.
Right.
So I think obviously if he comes in here, that means Cam Ward has to top the pros list. And Mark Gonzi is probably part of it too, but I would look at it more as a commentary on Cam.
615-737-1025, our phone number. More of your thoughts on John Harbaugh and his potential interest in the Tennessee Titans. We'll get more into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. John Harbaugh, looking at film of Jackson Dart, looking at film of Cam Ward, and then I guess at some point this week we'll see where he wants to narrow down his list in terms of the interviews that he will agree to. So there's the Harbaugh front of this. We've talked about Mike McDaniel earlier in the show in terms of he is interviewing, I think, today with the Browns. The Ravens are on the list there for him as well. You've got the Titans coming up, I think, January the 14th is when Mike McDaniel will be interviewing as a head coach candidate for them. He's also interviewing at some point as an offensive coordinator candidate for the Detroit Lions. So lots of interviews coming up for Mike McDaniel. We went through the Matt LaFleur situation earlier as well. It sounds like that the Packers are trying to work on an extension with Matt LaFleur. So if you were expecting Matt LaFleur to shake free, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Now, I guess, Joe, until the contract is agreed to, I mean, Schefter framed it as the Packers and LaFleur are going to try to work on an extension. So I don't really know what that means.
Yeah. What does that mean? Is it leaving the door open there a little bit? You hope so. You are hoping against hope.
I am hoping against hope. But that means I don't know why you would put it out there that they're trying to come together on a contract extension if there was like any inkling that they were now going to fire him after that. So
yeah. I'm trying to think, like, I guess they could lowball him. And you could, I guess if you're LaFleur, you could be like, well, I mean, I can go out in the market right now and get 15. What are they paying? What are the Green Bay Packers paying Matt LaFleur right now?
In their next deal, the one right now, I have no idea.
What's he make?
I have no idea.
It's so stupid that we don't know these. This is a big pet peeve I have. But like other than, I mean, if you're him, you'd be crazy to not want. Although, look, if you're him, he's been there a while. You know, we talk about the Tomlin thing, right? Like this could this be more of like a mutual thing a little bit like, you know what? Just Andy Reid. That's always the example. I guess Matt LaFleur could be like, you know what? These Packers fans are out on me. Look at the games I've won. Look at what I've done with Jordan Love. I got another quarterback who might almost be a starter level guy because of my work, and they all hate me and want me out. I'll go somewhere else and show them. Could that be part of his mindset? You hope that too. Oh gosh. Matt LaFleur, Green Bay Packers, he'll be there till like 20.
I mean, look, I think if you're him, you also, he may feel some of that deep down. Like, I have no idea how much he looks at social media and how, like, I would assume he understands that with the fan base, his seat's pretty hot right now. I also think, you know, this goes back to the Harbaugh discussion too. It, like, open the Green Bay job and then compare that with the other jobs that are open right now. Pretty different in terms of the roster.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, if you're LaFleur, like, you may feel some of that deep down. You also look at your roster and you're like, well, I got Jordan Love, I got Micah Parsons, I got all these guys. Like, yeah, I'll figure it out here. And if we start to win, the fan base will turn around.
Yeah, that's the right way to look at it. Yeah, that's probably how we'll look at it. Oh, someone asked about trading him. How about Chris in Nashville? Could the Packers trade him? How about that?
Oh,
Titans?
Think about that. Good Lord, yes.
What do you think? What would the Titans get for Matt LaFleur?
I don't know.
Jeff Simmons? You'll take that.
I'll take it.
My Packers get Jeff Simmons, and you Titans get yes.
Says LaFleur here made around $5 million for his initial contract and got a little bit of an increase in 2022.
Okay,
with his extension, but doesn't have a new number.
There you go. It is weird.
5 to 10 range probably.
Can we not get to the point in the NFL where we just, like, they list out the coaches' salaries in order?
It's a bunch of crap.
I mean, this list on Yahoo that I see has Andy Reid number 1 at 20.
I mean, that would make sense.
Sean Payton number 2 at 18. Tomlin and Harbaugh at 16. McVay 15. Sirianni 15. Shanahan 14. Vrabel 14. Johnson and O'Connell 13.
Okay, so those are numbers way into the high teens and 20s. So LaFleur's at 6 or 7? I mean, if you're Matt
5
LaFleur,
to 10 range. Yeah. I would
a lot of this, I mean, how many of those coaches are either number 1, super accomplished, or number 2, signed deals recently? Like, this is how, I mean, coaching cycle works just like everything else. Like,
yeah, for sure. But so now the Packers are like, and Ed Policy's like, oh God, I'm gonna keep him or not? Well, and he's like, okay, let's talk, Matt. Okay, we'll do 2 years at 9. And you're LaFleur, like, dude, I can go out there and get 15 right now.
Well, maybe.
I'm trying to give you hope here.
Well, look,
that
I'll
he
take
would not
it.
be your
I'm
coach
just
anymore.
saying, like, it comes down to like your roster, right? Like if you're the Packers, you could say, well, yeah, you probably could go out there and get more. Good luck winning out there with their roster compared to what you've got here, buddy. Like, so like I would be very. I mean, I guess that's where the trying to come to an extension comes from Schefter.
That's right. Schefter framed it. I mean, I'm assuming someone told him, well, we haven't talked yet, so this is the plan, but who knows? His agent may have something to say about it.
Could be.
I mean, he doesn't have much leverage right now after that game.
He does not. He does not.
Other than look at all these jobs that are open, and I promise you 4 of these teams would hire me like snap of the finger.
Well, and one thing we also don't know, circling back to Harbaugh, like was Harbaugh deep down, was he believing / hoping that either like Buffalo would lose over the weekend and that job would come open, or Green Bay, if they lost, they would fire Matt LaFleur and that job comes open? And if those things don't happen, is it possible that Harbaugh looks at the coaching cycle right now and says, you know what, I'm going to hold off a year and then get back into this thing next year? I don't know, but I just wondered deep down, was he really hoping that one of those jobs like the Bills or the Packers came open, and if they didn't, he's going to hold off for a year and then reevaluate next year?
It could be. Could be that too, for sure. I mean, he's got a ton of options. Again, I just think it's just really interesting that he, really is okay with it being out there that he's gonna grind some film on some QBs. I can't remember. I maybe I'm forgetting something. I can't remember a situation quite like that where it's like, the possibility of an interview basically hinges on like this dude watching film of these young QBs.
Yeah.
Can you think of something like that?
No, but like this coaching cycle, I don't know that I can really think of something like this.
Yeah.
Like it's a wild coaching cycle.
Adds to the craziness of the whole thing.
Yeah. And again, what domino falls first here? Like somebody's going to make a hire, I would assume, relatively quickly. So who's that going to be? I guess, I mentioned it. If you're Arizona, like I'm going to doubt Arizona is in the mix for John Harbaugh, right?
Yeah.
So as Arizona's trying to figure out, number one, with a roster that's not very good. Number two, with a quarterback situation where it feels like they're moving on from Kyler Murray. It's not a good ownership situation out there either. Like there's not a whole lot working for the Arizona Cardinals right now. By the way, you play in the NFC West, which is pretty good division last time I checked. So
just take Jeff Hafley.
Well, it's like, so what? You're not going to be in the John Harbaugh mix if you're Arizona, I don't think. So, like, I think are people expecting like Harbaugh's going to have to make a decision, and then the rest of the coaching cycle will fall together? Maybe, but like Arizona, like they could go hire Chris Shula tomorrow and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, which I would do too, like because the race is on as soon as you hire a coach for that coach to put together a staff, and it's very competitive with a lot of. So if you get a head start on staff hires, that might be worth doing that. So yeah, I think you're right. I think we'll see one or two that'll pop before the Harbaugh thing sets the kind of pegs for everybody. Yeah.
615-737-1025, our phone number. A lot more of your thoughts to get to on the Harbaugh front. We will do that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Going to be an interesting week around here. You got the Harbaugh stuff. At some point, I would assume that's announced in terms of his interview schedule. In the meantime, Mike McDaniel coming up, Robert Saleh, who, by the way, as I said earlier in the show, nice job from him and that defense yesterday in the Philadelphia game in terms of the job they did slowing down that offense. Now, I understand Philadelphia's got some problems of their own that they need to work out here moving forward, but good stuff from San Francisco in that game yesterday. The coaching search part of this for the Titans, it's very extensive at this point. Interested to see where that all lands. And in the meantime, Joe, we got another game tonight, Texans and Steelers to round out Wild Card Weekend. Will the Steelers be able to score 2 touchdowns in this game?
Yeah. Like I like the Texans, which based on my powers of picking
congratulations, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, go. It's going to be some terrible towels waving in joy tonight. Play that Sticks loud on the loudspeaker because I picked the Texans. Steelers going to win.
Could see how it goes. What stood out to you the most on Wild Card Weekend? You have the Patriots taking down the Chargers, so add more layers to the Justin Herbert can't win in the playoffs log that has been thrown out there. You have San Francisco taking down the champs, L.A. in a great game with Carolina. We've talked about Green Bay and Chicago. What kind of stood out to you the most on Wild Card Weekend?
Well, certainly I was impressed with the Patriots. You know, the Herbert thing, I'm giving him a little bit of a pass. He got just bludgeoned last night. Who was it? Were you telling us, Ian, that what they were? Oh, or is that you talking about Spillane and their coverages?
Spillane, yeah.
The Vrabel coverages were just so complex.
Yes, but Robert Spillane for the Patriots last night basically said that some Chargers players came up to him after the game, was like, yeah, we had no idea what you guys were doing on defense in the game. Like at all. Had no clue what coverage you were in.
It definitely looked like the Chargers O-line injuries kind of caught up with them last week or last night.
Yeah.
Sure.
And also maybe Jimmy Harbaugh needs O'Connor Stallions to help him out. Big take. I mean, look, the Bears, that win, good for them. The Packers blew it. I don't need to tell you that. That was a collapse. It was a collapse more than it was anything else. And so good for the Bears. Enjoy your week here. You're still not very good. The Eagles, that's a really interesting situation, right?
Yeah.
Like, is this it for A.J. Brown? Is Jalen Hurts, who, again, was fantastic, winning a Super Bowl last year? I think the OC is a problem for them. I see, like, it just seems like they don't take advantage of the whole field, and they couldn't run the ball this year. And I think it's an OC thing with them, which they seem to be kind of, going up and down. But there's a lot of ways that could go. And good for Jacksonville, good season. But I think that Josh Allen and the Bills it's right there for them. It's right in front of them, man. It's right in front of them. If you're a Bills fan, maybe you don't love the idea that your team, you're going to have to win 2 more road games.
Yep.
So you're going to have to go to Denver, and then you're going to have to either go to New England, Houston, or Pittsburgh to win an AFC championship game. I like their chances. I think we're going to see Buffalo in the Super Bowl. I do. So again, congratulations to anybody playing Buffalo.
Congratulations, Broncos.
They're about to lose.
Yeah.
That's a huge game. Fascinating game. Broncos, great defense. Bo Nix is a tough, gritty quarterback. Josh Allen's got to go in there and win, right?
Yeah. I mean, you would think so. But, I mean, again, that's a darn good defense they're getting ready to go play. It's on the very short list of best defenses in the NFL that they're getting ready to go play on the road. So we'll see. I mean, that game to me is going to be fascinating. I'm interested to see how Seattle handles things next week because you've got the Rams still alive. The Niners just won last night. I mean, clearly that division is an absolute juggernaut when you're talking about the NFC West.
Yeah, man. It's the NFC West and the frauds left in the NFC. You have the Final Four. You got the 3 great NFC West teams and the frauds. But are the Niners now? And I know Kittle's missed a lot of this year already. It just sucks for him. Does it get to be too much for them? I kind of feel like Seattle might just roll again.
I mean, at some point the injuries matter, man. Like when you're missing big time players, injuries matter, and it's tough to see anyone go down with a torn Achilles in the playoff. Just brutal.
Yeah,
for him yesterday. So yeah, I mean, I am, the Patriots. like I said, the winner of this game tonight has to go to Foxborough. I like the Patriots against either one of those teams. I do. Like I think Vrabel may in his first year wind up in the AFC title game.
I think we're going to be looking at Bills Patriots, which would be a hell of an AFC title game. And it's just like, we know the Patriots already won there once, or the Bills already won there once. Patriots won at Buffalo.
Yeah, road teams have won
the road teams won the 2 games. I like the Patriots. I think we're going to be talking about them a lot in years to come. This is Josh Allen's year to get them and to get to the Super Bowl.
I am predicting Denver, New England for the AFC title game.
Really?
Yeah.
Such a hater.
I'm just
interesting to see.
I think Denver's really good.
Buffalo, short week, weird scheduling. Jake Lyman and I were just talking about that. Some of the teams coming off playing Sunday and now playing Saturday. Some of the Saturday.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know. That's why TV execs there should be someone else with the league saying, I know you want this, but you know what? We have to try to be fair to teams. It's going to be okay.
The NFL playoffs. People are going to watch no matter where you put it.
Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, they played Sunday against Jacksonville, and then, Saturday night, Josh Allen banged up. So short week for Buffalo.
Yep.
Should be interesting to see on that one.
And then the Panthers almost got him, man. Like the Panthers 10.5-point underdogs
At least
against
I
the
got
Rams.
that pick right.
And you did. It looked like they were going to win. I was like, Bryce Young's made a couple throws in this game, pretty good. And then Stafford put it together on that last drive.
I think I was when we were looking for the doing some research last week about spreads and all that. We came up with the Beastquake as a underdog. I think I saw like a stat, double-digit underdog home teams against the spread are pretty good. So some research lucked out for me on that one.
Yeah, they absolutely could have won the game. Yeah, good for them, but good for the Rams to get through that. And I think look, unless the weather is so bad that you can't throw the ball. I have no idea what it's looking like in Chicago. I think we're looking at Rams, Seahawks, and they've had some bangers too.
Yeah.
Broncos, Patriots. It would be Patriots at Denver.
That is correct.
I don't know, man. I can't believe that either of them is ready to be in a Super Bowl.
Denver's good.
Yeah. No, they are. Well, New England is too.
Yeah.
It's just like
Josh Allen.
It happens so fast in this league.
He'll be the best player on the field again. Josh
will.
Allen. And it worked out to their favor this week against Duval.
It did. We'll see how it goes. We'll keep you updated all day long here on the latest on the Titans coaching search news. That's going to do it for us today here on the program. Hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.